I love driving around London and reading signs wrongly, and I think that gives me a level of amusement, and I think it's not fair for everyone else to, to miss it, or whether it's you see, the early bird becomes the ugly bird, or I mean, yeah, I mean, possibly. I think certainly I've inherited an ability to say sorry with great ease because I've got used to doing things wrong so many times over the years. And if something goes wrong, well, fine. I don't find it. I mean, my oldest daughter gets really humiliated when she gets things wrong, and and that because she's a perfectionist to an extent, and I'm lucky enough not to, over the time I've become used to it, and when I spell something idiotically or read something back to front, it makes me laugh to an extent, and people don't laugh at me because I've at a point of where I'm more senior. But I think as a child, people probably did laugh at me, and I laughed with them, to an extent, and I was always became the clown of the class. I couldn't do well academically, but I could do well socially by kind of being very loud and dancing around and spending most of my time standing outside the classroom, being excluded. And that was slightly water off a duck's back. It didn't kind of bother me in a way, which then confused the schools because they weren't really sure what to do about it. I love driving around London and reading signs wrongly, and I think that gives me a level of amusement, and I think it's not fair for everyone else to miss it, or whether it's you see, the early bird becomes the ugly bird, or I mean, it's just.
Does it actually inspire some of your work?
I think I don't know. It literally just, but it inspires my day, and it gives me another smile, and
It really keeps you agile.
But it also becomes
creatively fit, doesn't
yeah.
it?
I think it keeps my mind awake. I bicycle everywhere, and I bicycle around forming ideas a lot. In transit, it becomes the kind of the most contemplative moment of my day. I was in a curatorial meeting yesterday, and I was seeing things which is quite a stressful meeting, and I was seeing things. I kept reading things in very subliminal ways, which is another whole layer. You don't quite understand where the influence of that becomes. I think charm and magic's a really I have a very charmed life and a very magical life, and managed to to float around with the fairies to an extent, but turn that into a commercial process. So it's that's not to say deal with a huge amount of stress and delivering a large number of high finance projects with very precious clients. In the process of doing a £5 million refurbishment of Selfridges in Birmingham, for example, with endless deadlines. But I still try and create a kind of charm narrative around that, because my feeling is if we've got to work 12 hours a day, let's at least enjoy those 12 hours a day, or at times 18 hours a day, which is not unknown in my office.